After landing two more major commitments over the weekend, Kirby Smart and the Dawgs now have 29 total commitments in the 2026 class, and there's still room for several more to jump on board as the Dawgs try to once again sign a number one ranked recruiting class. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down where Georgia's class looks like right now, where they sit with some of their top targets left on their board, when those targets could be making their decision, and so much more. So we've got a jam-packed recruiting video for you today. Of course, the big news on Saturday, Georgia picks up commitments from four-star safety Tyree Green and five-star tight end Caden Prothro. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But just from a big picture standpoint, let's talk about where Georgia has their commitments on offense. In case you've forgotten, right, it starts with five-star quarterback Jared Curtis, the number one quarterback prospect in the country, number two overall prospect in the country. Big deal. This is a big kid with size, elite arm talent who can also run. He is Georgia's highest ranked commitment in this class. Big deal. So they've got their quarterback. At running back, they've got four-star Jay Lamar committed. He's down at South Georgia, Colquitt County. Tackle-breaking machine with speed. I believe he's a top 10 running back prospect in the country. These rankings are going to continue to be updated over the next several months. So where these guys are ranked right now may not exactly be where they're ranked in the final rankings. I think he's the best running back in the state. However, they want to take another one, and all eyes right now are on Derek Cooper. He is a four-star running back that they've been recruiting for a long time out of South Florida. He is making his commitment on July 20th. Georgia, Texas, Miami, Florida State, and Ohio State are his final five. I do think it's going to come down to Georgia, Texas, or Miami. Georgia can absolutely win this battle. He loves Georgia. He loves the versatility that they could use him at. He's a fantastic pass catcher out of the backfield. He plays defense and special teams for his high school team. This guy is a do-it-all athlete. He's, I believe, the number 3 or 4 running back prospect in the country. Again, the rankings will be updated, so it doesn't exactly matter where they're ranked right now. But make no mistake, he's one of the best in the country. I would definitely watch Texas here. I think Miami is absolutely still in the mix, but I can definitely see him landing at Georgia on July 20th when he makes that decision in about a week, right? However, I do think this could be a recruitment that changes last minute. A lot of these recruitments have not been that way, especially kids who have picked Georgia in June and so far in July. But this is one that I think could maybe trend a different way last minute, depending on how things are going. But too early to make a final call right now on where he's going to end up, but I can definitely see him at Georgia. That is a real thing that could happen. So Derek Cooper, Georgia's top remaining running back target that they have a chance with. They were recruiting Savion Hyder for a long time, but Derek Cooper is the guy. At wide receiver, they've got a solid amount. They've got Brady Marchese out of Cartersville High School. They've got Ryan Mosley out of Carrollton. They've got Craig Dandridge at Cambridge. So they've got a solid amount of wide receivers there, especially when you look at the guys they brought in the last cycle, right? Five-star Talon Taylor, borderline five-star CJ Wiley. So this was going to be a class where they probably weren't going to land a five-star wide receiver, but they've got 3 really good ones on board right now. On the offensive line, they've got their tackle, Kenny Ogboko, the number 6 offensive tackle in the country. He's out of South Garner, a guy who a lot of people think could be a multi-year starter at Georgia down the road. And they've got several in-state guards who are promising. They're not, super high in the rankings right now, but kids that love Georgia, are excited to be there, and who are probably a little underrated right now when you look at their current ranking. But Zachary Lewis at North Gwinnett is one to know. Zyke Helton at Carrollton, and a few others. Graham Houston at Buford. So they've got some guys, and we'll see if they try to add another offensive tackle late. At tight end, they've got 3 on board, including five-star Caden Prothro, who they just landed out of Bowdoin High School, just a pass-catching machine. They've got four-star Lincoln Keys from Michigan, who also brings size, strong ball skills, and then Braden Fogel, a four-star top 10 tight end prospect in the country out of Ohio. So Todd Hartley, A-plus job once again, going out and getting 3 really talented tight ends, including the number 2 tight end in the country in the state of Georgia. That was a massive deal. On the defensive line, Trey Scott doing his thing. again. He's got commitments from borderline 5-star James Johnson out of South Florida. PJ Dean is a top 100 kid from North Carolina who chose Georgia. Preston Carey is an interior defensive lineman at IMG Academy. I believe he's from New York. He's on the commit list. Carter Lucky, an in-state guy, 7 Cloud. And then Corey Howard is a promising 3-star out of Valdosta. So, they are continue to do a good job there. I think they might take one more. And Valdenson is a guy to know. He's an international kid. I believe he played in Sweden or Germany. Sweden. I got in my notes, kids from Sweden. He made it over to the United States to pursue a career in football, and he looks like he's going to have a really nice one. I believe he played in Virginia last year, but this is a guy who tore it up in the camps. He took an official visit to Georgia. I think right now Florida is the team to beat, but this is a really, really impressive young man who's going to see his ranking continue to rise. 6'4", 320 pounds, really quick. He's agile, shows strong hands, and his best football is way ahead of him. This guy's still learning the game, still learning the fundamentals and his technique, but he is a big kid who can really move, quickness and power. He's got the potential to be a really kind of a game-wrecking interior defensive lineman because of his size and the potential that he has. Trey Scott is recruiting him, and he would just be kind of icing on the cake for another outstanding defensive line that Georgia's trying to bring in. So Trey Scott, I mean, hard to say that, he's not getting an A+ for what he's done in this class. Glenn Schumann, he's on board right now. He's got one commitment, Shadarius Tootle, a 4-star linebacker from Mobile who flipped from Auburn to Georgia. I believe in mid to late June, really got that domino effect going. He made like 150 plus tackles last year. He's big, athletic. He's the only guy on board. All eyes right now are on Nick Abrams, who commits, where is that? I believe on the 16th, Georgia, Oregon, Michigan, and Alabama. Georgia can absolutely land this kid. He plays in Maryland, major Michigan target, major Oregon target. Alabama's been recruiting for a long time, and Georgia absolutely loves this kid. He plenty of size, 6'2", about 215. That could be wrong. I didn't have that in my notes there, but he's got size, but he's not super heavy. He's got a lean frame, and he moves really well. But he made 77 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss last year, 4 sacks, 1 interception, a block punt. He's the number 14 linebacker in the country, number 209 overall. Georgia would welcome this young man with open arms, and I think Georgia can land him. I think Oregon might be the team trending right now. I think Michigan feels really good about where they sit, but I'm not, I'm not ruling out any linebacker for Glenn Schumann. He is the best in the country at the inside linebacker position, probably the best defensive coordinator in college football and an ace recruiter. Nick Abrams definitely a guy to watch, but Tyler Atkinson, the 5-star linebacker we've been talking about for years, coming off the board soon. I don't know what soon is. Soon could be in 10 minutes. Soon could be tomorrow. Soon could be next week. We'll see where things go there, but I do think Georgia sits in the best position to land him. Clemson, Oregon, Texas, the others involved, and I think all of them have done a great job recruiting him, but at the end of the day, I do think it's going to be really tough for him to look Glenn Schumann in the eyes and say, no thanks, I'm an elite 5-star linebacker 45 minutes away, but I'm going to leave this state and go play for someone else who does not have 3 Butkus Award winners on his resume. And, Georgia offered him in 8th grade. They've built this relationship with him for a long time. He is the top remaining guy on their board. He's a top 10 prospect in the country, number 1 linebacker. He is as elite gets. Coming off the board soon, and I like where Georgia sits right now. We'll see if anything changes, but if he were to make a commitment today, I think Tyler Atkinson would choose Georgia. Let's see, who have we not talked about? We talked about Derek Cooper, Nick Abrams, Tyler Atkinson, Valdenson. Brett Collegier is an interior offensive lineman. He's down at IMG Academy. So if there's another offensive line spot available, which I think there is, maybe they try to find a tackle. If not, Brett Collegier is a guy that Georgia is recruiting against Miami for. Let's see, 6'5", 320. He's a guard. He's the number 307 prospect in the country. Georgia already has 2 IMG Academy kids on board right now. He would be the 3rd. And then in the secondary, they've got 3 corners, 3 safeties, so 6 total. The 3 corners are Caden Harris, a lean, athletic, kind of a 3-way player, small town in Tennessee, who flipped from Vanderbilt. Justice Fitzpatrick, a high 4-star kid down in South Florida. His brother is Minka Fitzpatrick. Then Chase Calicut is a long, big, athletic cornerback from Houston who was silently committed to Texas that Georgia was able to land last month. So 3 out-of-state talented cornerbacks, and they've got some safeties on board. Tyree Green, the newest one. They've got Jordan Smith down at Houston County, Zachariah Fort, and they've got Keelan Jones out of Sprayberry. So 4 safeties, 3 cornerbacks, 7 total. So they're loading up on defense. A lot of defensive linemen with room for 1 more. They've got 1 linebacker looking to add 2 more, and they've got 7 guys in the secondary. So this is a really, really big class. They've got 29 guys committed already. And we talked about 6 major targets and guys who I think Georgia sits in a pretty good spot for. So this is going to be a massive class. Georgia might sign the #1 class in the country. Guys are coming off the board soon, so it could be another big, big July for Kirby and the Dogs as they push for that #1 class, and they can absolutely do it. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. I'll see you over on Dawg Post.